Welcome to the weekly kickoff, guys. Hope you guys are having an amazing start of the week. In today's video, guys, as usual, we're gonna have a full breakdown of all of the events coming to Raid Shadow Legends this week, and we have quite a few. Of course, the fusion just started today. I've already released a video with a fusion plan, fusion calendar. We went over all of the steps that you need to follow if you want to go for the fragment event fusion. But in today's video, we are going to talk about summoning events. We're going to talk about other things that are happening this week. And for my surprise, once again, still no 2x on soulstones. I'm just like looking at them every single day, and honestly, my fingers are getting itchier and itchier. But leaving all that on the side, guys, of course, we're gonna have everyone's favorite game mode returning tomorrow. Clan versus clan. I'm just being sarcastic. I know it's not everyone's favorite game mode, guys. This time around, it will feature personal rewards. And as you can probably notice, you're going to get materials for relics out of the CVC. Then, the actual rewards for the milestones are just the standard stuff. We're gonna get Savage Gear this time around from here. Plarium, I think it's time for you to step up and put Mythical Gear instead of the Legendary in the CVC. And start giving gear in Tier 1 as well, instead of the Bruce and instead of these freaking core hammers. I think it might be a bad idea for all of the players. Clan versus Clan, it has been in the game for a very long time. I feel like the rewards are very outdated, okay? So they need to up them a little bit. Mythical Gear came in the game since Tier 6 should have Mythical Gear. This should have Legendary 6-star, Epic 6-star, Mythical 5-star, Legendary 5-star, Epic 5-star. I think it's just fair play. But leaving all that on the side, guys, we're going to talk about summoning events in a second. I do want to give you a quick reminder. If you haven't completed your clan quest just yet, like me, I never do them. I'm always late to the party. Make sure you guys do it, right? If you gotta purchase anything from the clan shop, make sure you guys do it as well. It seems like I do need to purchase the silver from here before I actually forget. If the game actually allows me to do so, I'm not sure why we have this ring of that. And ignore that part with the code Skratch. I just forgot to remove it from the previous video that I've recorded for Dragonair. But one day maybe Plarium will bring a code Skratch in Raid Shadow Legends too. Who knows? Maybe it never happen. Maybe they will. But you picked up the stuff. The next thing, if you gotta pick up anything from the bazaar, guys, a quick reminder for you guys as well. Usually I pick them up when I'm doing the reminder for you guys. So we've got them right here up and running. In terms of events, tournaments, basically at the moment, everything's more or less related with the fusion. Now, I am not going to start anything on the fusion today. I'm actually going to wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to have the Dungeon Diver event starting as well. And I'm probably going to stop at 6,100 points, get the fragments, call it a day, and run away from here. We still have the fusion warm-up going on, so I got to level up some gear to get my Ancient Shard and energy from there. In terms of tournaments, we will have the Kurosa Conquest tournament that I think started yesterday, not today. So from here, you can get a Soulstone. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for it or not, because I'm pretty down on resources after that Hero Pair event that we had recently, right? Classic Arena, Tag Arena tournament comes to an end, and we will have a Sand Devils starting tomorrow as well. So we need to be very selective with the events, tournaments, a lot of energy to invest in the Kurosa, the Sand Devil, and if you're going for the Fusion, of course, as free-to-play low spender, you most likely need to skip the other two events. But this is the Dragon Tournament, just very standard. No other news about other events. It seems like we had no update this week. Maybe they're going to bring in another update towards the end of the week, or maybe only next week, because that's when the new month kind of like settles in. But most likely they will bring in new champions, more than we currently have. And we are still waiting for some QOL changes, if I remember it correctly from the What's Next in Raid video. Like filtering for champions, the Minotaur thingy. So probably those should be the next on the list. Unless I'm mistaken. I don't want to say it guaranteed, because I might be wrong about that. But leaving all that on the side, we're gonna have summoning events starting for CVC. Now, this is, in my opinion, an easy skip, no matter how good the champions are, if you are going for the fusion. Because if you're going for the fusion, you're not going to get points for the fragments, and you're only going to be able to get points in a summoning event starting on Friday with the Summon Rush. That will be, again, a 15x progressive chance, most likely. But let me just quickly bring the list on the screen for whoever wants to see it. Feel free to pause, take a screenshot, have a look at it. But basically, we do have some pretty damn good champions on the list. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to summon. Personally, I won't be summoning for any of them. And if I see this freaking red dot for this bloody crappy leaderboard again in the game, I'm probably going to lose my freaking mind. Because every time I log in back in the game Monday, I'm just getting it a million times, popping in my face. And I do have a lot of red dots on the screen. So I know that all of you guys OCD are probably going to be like, Skratch, please collect them because I'm about to lose my freaking mind. Don't worry, guys. I'm in the exact same boat with you, right? I hate the red dots. But I did not have a chance to collect them yet. And I'm not going to stay to collect them all. Let's quickly talk about the champions. Who's worth it, who's not. So Ballard the Lost was actually guaranteed in the last hero path. Good for the Chimera trials. I've seen some people trying the champion in a lot of different content. I will be releasing an updated guide on him. But probably in the next few days. Because I'm going to wait for CVC to actually book the champion. Looking forward to actually see how I can fit him in some of my teams, if I can at the moment. I definitely feel like I really need that freaking Fina from the High Elves, but we'll see if we're going to be able to make it work without her. Overall, a good champion that brings in a lot of debuffs, a lot of buffs, and of course, Poison Explosion, Detonation, and Poisons too. Overall, really solid for that, but he's not like a must-have champion. Then we have Bugs Bunny, which is of course Razelvarg. Very good champion for Hydra Clan Boss, Faction Wars, Curse City. Is not necessarily a champion that I would use to nuke down waves or a PvP champion. But overall, he can do a very, very solid amount of damage in the Hydra Clan Boss. The one thing is, nobody really gives too much of a damn about Hydra Clan Boss. Personally, I hate manualing Hydra Clan Boss. Since they've implemented the changes from a game mode that was enjoyable, from a game mode that I constantly wanted to excel and constantly doing it on manual to try and get a better score, I got to a point where I do not want to hear about Hydra manual, okay? I just dislike it at an insane level. And probably a lot of you guys are in the same situation, while some of you still enjoy it, which is absolutely fine. But he can actually put in some serious work in the Hydra Clan Boss. His multipliers are based on attack and speed. Merciless is still the way to go on the champion. A 6-star crushing rend, if you get that lucky. And you're going to do some crazy, crazy, crazy numbers with Bugs Bunny. Speed aura for all battles. Useful in Fire Knight 2 with the triple hitter, with the increased speed as well, which is actually really, really nice. Moving on to the next one, we have Archbishop Pintroy. Definitely not a champion that I love. I'm only using him on one stage in the Curse City. I am not using this champion anywhere else in the game. But that doesn't mean that you cannot use the champion if you have him, okay? Overall, he's not the worst champion in the game. He's not the best. He's definitely not the best block buff champion in the game. He can put increased accuracy, heal reduction, and block buffs on enemies. And he's going to give you an increased defense and a shield too. And the passive basically removes these debuffs from this champion only at the start of each turn. So overall, yeah, a kind of like average block buff support champion. Personally, as crazy as it might sound, I do prefer Ugo, the epic champion, over Archbishop Pintroy, right? But that is just me. You can definitely get some utility for from him in a early game content where you need that increased accuracy. The heal reduction can be helpful too. So overall, not the worst as I've mentioned, but it's not something that I would chase on a 15x. Then we have Gwendolyn the Silent. I almost forgot to talk about the freaking owl. Can be very good in the Chimera when they will bring the Great Hall area bonuses for the Chimera. Now, from what I understood, somebody said that it's definitely not coming this year, which is pretty odd because they tend to bring those ones like 6 to 12 months after the content was released, or maybe not as early Maybe for the Sand Devils and the rest, they took a bit longer. But either way, a lot of these champions will have a massive value surge when that happens, because at the moment, their main issue is the lack of damage. Like, even if you have a 6-star Crushing Rand and a Cat's Gaze, they just do not have a crazy damage output. But once that changes, they will become much better. It was the exact same thing with the Hydra Clan boss. Enemy max HP used to dominate, then they brought in the area bonuses, and a lot of champions like Gwyndolin, Razelvarg, etc. started excelling and out-damaging the enemy max HP champions. And Gwyndolin actually brings in a lot of buffs and debuffs, which is very important for trials. So that's one of the main things that I do like about him. Decrease speed, leech, decrease accuracy, increase accuracy, immunity, the extend duration of buffs, you know, extra turn in this skill. He could potentially, or he or she, pardon me, could have the potential to put in serious damage. Then, talking about Wall Master Otorian, enemy max HP champions. So he's very good for Hydra Clan boss. He was actually extremely important for me on stage 21 on Faction Wars hard mode. Like, this skill actually is what took the boss down. I have a +4 Itos. I have a +4 Balanor. Man, they were just not doing damage, okay? They were just not doing enough damage versus the boss. So I brought in Wallmaster Otorian and absolutely took a dump on that boss on stage 21 hard mode. So he's not only good for Faction Wars, but he's good for Hydra. So he does bring a lot of utility in there too, with the block buffs, the decrease attack. He has the passive that stacks his HP, the self-buffing, the A1 being an AoE as well. You can definitely use him in a lot of different areas. Now, you can build him on a 9-piece Slayer set if you want to. You can go with a Merciless if you don't have a Slayer set, because that is more pay to win. But overall, definitely a good champion. And I'm happy that I have him, because he 1,000,000% made my life easier in Faction Wars. Then moving on to Void champions, guys. We have Chalco the Blind. He's a champion that I would love to get. I love his passive. I love that he instantly moves onto the A2. A very good counter for champions like Taras, for example, especially if he's not with Stone Skin. The debuff spread. This was the very first champion in the game that was doing a debuff spread, taking all of the debuffs, spreading them onto the rest. Because every time I'm talking about this, I'm seeing people in the comments, no, Skratch, Vizier can do it, Tuhanarak can do it, God knows what other epics can do it. No, they cannot, because they only transfer 2 random debuffs. So it's a lot of RNG in there. It's not even 20% as good as what this skill does with the debuff spread, because it takes everything, no matter what you have on them, of course, except the crowd control debuffs. But a very good champion. He's a good damage dealer too, so Savage, Lethal, Merciless is what you want to get on this bad boy. And being Void Affinity is actually really nice. Then, moving on to the next champion that we have on the list, guys, is the one and only, the Supreme. Not part of the Supreme Club, funny enough, but is Supreme Kill. So, I built mine with the new Poison Relic, the Arachnid, something like that. I forgot the name for it. Because he lands poisons, right? So, I finally found a use for him. I do have to admit it that I think he was extremely important for Faction Wars hard mode on my account. You have that trial where you gotta kill enemies under 10 debuffs. I don't know how I was gonna do it without him, to be honest, because I've tried so many different things and was just painful. I'm not saying that was impossible to do it without him. I'm sure some of you guys did it, but was literally gonna give me more gray hairs, because the RNG on some of these stages is just mental. Now, he's a massive powerhouse for progression. Truth be told, I think he might be one of the best progression champions in the entire game. Just because he does not require accuracy, he puts decreased resistance, he puts increased accuracy, he puts poisons, bang, weaken as well AoE. I mean, he can be very good progression-wise, and truth be told, as I've mentioned, he was very good for me in the endgame. And now, I have him built with Stone Skin, and I'm just landing poisons, and I'm just chopping the enemies down, like you would do it with a Kelphalax. But of course, it's not the passive, it's the skill that does it. Then we have Aratea Corpse Flower. Would be good if I remember which one is that, but I would assume is one of them from here, yeah. Just by the name. I've tried this champion. I was really not very impressed with her as a Void Legendary. I think I released a guide on her, or maybe I just intended to, and then I saw that she was kind of like meh, so I changed my mind. But increased accuracy, she does bring the Dead Brand debuff, which blocks revive basically. The damage was pretty underwhelming. You do need to have all of these freaking things on to basically get the most out of it. Ignore some of the buffs if they're under hacks. If you have hacks, she does more damage, but the damage felt pretty underwhelming. So, personally, considering the level of my account, I would not build her if I would get her on my account. Straight to the vault, lock the door, and forget about her. But for a lot of other people, I think she can be very useful progression-wise, mid-game, maybe in some cases endgame too, especially if you're lacking champions from this faction. I do have to say that this as well, it literally gave me probably like, I don't know, maybe 200 gray hairs trying to defeat stage 20. Okay, it's just the RNG on that stage, no Kelder, trying to one-shot those enemies. Don't allow them to take you under 75% HP. I think was the most frustrating stage I've done in Faction Wars hard mode. Okay, and I've tried it day after day after day. And every time the RNG was screwing me with a counterattack straight on the last character, Bang was messing up my 3 stars and constantly just getting 2 stars. So I still have to work on it. But hopefully Balar will help me to sort that out. Who knows? Maybe he won't. But if you are lacking champions from here, she could definitely be pretty good. But once again, I wouldn't summon for her. Then on Wednesday, guys, we're going to have the same story. 15x progressive chance, giving you a chance to summon the champions of your dreams, starting with Grakos turn Drake. He looks amazing, and I do not like the champion. I've done a guide on him. His damage was really underwhelming. Yes, you can use him as a support for the increased defense and the block damage. I can bring in the Mira and still be very happy with my life. I do not need Grakos to do the job of an epic champion, okay? As good as he looks, he's as underwhelming, okay? Now, if you need him very early on, progression-wise, block damage, increased defense, it will help you a bit in the clan boss. But you can't really make very good clan boss teams with him, unfortunately. Then, you have this AoE with decreased defense and block buffs. So probably this is one of the best things that he does in his kit. His damage is weak. Now, why do I say damage? Because he ignores defense. He has high crit damage. He should be a damage dealer. But very low multipliers, right? And out of progression, I do not really see a big use for him. Faction Wars hard mode, he could potentially help you to keep the team alive. But once again, I feel like I'm talking about these champions. Progression, Faction Wars, progression, Faction Wars, progression, Faction Wars, Curse City. They don't have that place where they shine, like dungeons, PvP, clan boss, Hydra, Chimera, right? A lot of these champions are lacking that special thingy, right? But hey, if you like the look, if you're a Pokemon collector, feel free to get him. I'm not here to stop you or to make you feel bad about the champion that you have. I'm just sharing my opinion with you guys. You can, of course, let me know in the comments down below. No, Skratch, you're an idiot. This champion is the best in the game. He carried my entire freaking ass through all of the content. And that's fine. That's how it works on your account. And average champion is subjective to your own account, okay? Keep that in mind. Don't necessarily listen to everything that I say. Then we have Uzul of the Jade. I actually like this champion. So for a change, I had a blast playing this champion when I've tested him. I do not have him, unfortunately. He's all about extra turn, instant turns. It is true you kind of like need a Shuzan to really bring the most out of him. But his damage, boys, oh boy, he actually smacks and ignores Stone Skin. Defense, this skill is really good too. A big fan of the champion. I would summon for this champion if I would have the shot. If I would spend any money in the game as I used to do in the past. But I'm not doing none of those. So because of it, I'm very selective with what champions I'm going for. And I feel like it's time for me to start saving for that Fina again, because I've kind of like depleted all of my resources. But the extra turn can work with Relentless, guys, on him. The problem is you're losing damage. So I still think that building him, of course, with Savage Merciless is the right thing to do. Moving on to the next one, we have Modo of the Peel. I can't really remember his faction, if he's an Ogryn or a Skinwalker. There it is, Ogryn. I think he's pairing with Esme, right? Which used to be a fusion from the Barbarian faction. If I remember it correctly. Yes, he is. Decentish for Faction Wars as well. More of a progression. His damage is not that great for this skill that actually damage increases by 75% while attacking enemies under Stone Skin buffs. So I've tried him with a 6-star blessing that boosts the damage for the Stone Skin damage, right? I did not have the set to boost it more as well, but he was not able to break the Stone Skin on most champions. He was barely doing on damage dealers, which tend to be much squishier. AoE attack with a chance to stun. So he can be good for Faction Wars because of this stun. And you will need crowd control in Faction Wars. I do not have the champion. I've pulled a soul for him not a very long time ago, actually. Maybe one day I'll get him, but I'm not going to chase him. Then we have Bells the Reckoner. Bells the Reckoner. Who the heck are you? Because I really do not remember. So let's see. Will I get it from the first try? Bells the Reckoner. Is that a Lizardman? No, it's not. I will quickly have to go basically faction to faction because I really do not remember that champion. I'm playing too many games. I need to remember way too many freaking names. And apologies. Every now and then I do forget some of these champions, especially if they're more newish. Maybe he's not even that new. Maybe he's been in the game for quite a while. But I really do not remember this one. Bells the Reckoner. Oh, there we go. Bells the Reckoner. Skratch, you moron. Was even a guaranteed event for this. You might even have the freaking champion in your Fragments collection. Isn't he the block buffs? No, he's the Leech. And the block buffs. Yeah. I remember now. Okay. So Bells the Reckoner was decent. But once again, I remember I've tested him. Compared him with Ugo, the epic champion. You've heard that freaking name quite a bit today. I still prefer Ugo. Now, you can give him a bit of damage and maybe like that, using him as a block buffs and the extra damage that he could potentially do might up your damage a little bit in the Hydra clan boss. He really is kind of like more of a Hydra clan boss champion. Not crazy multipliers or anything like that, but average as a damage dealer, block buffs on top of it. He can be useful in the Hydra clan boss. I think I have the champion, bro. I think I summoned him already. Then, starting with some heavy lifting in here, we have Rotos, the Lost freaking Groom. Still a freaking beast, guys. This passive is something that's probably going to survive till the end of time in Raid Shadow Legends. Having the ability to block, revive, ignore, unkillable, block damage, some of the defense. The more HP is still with the A2. Best build for this bad boy is a 9-piece Merciless. You want to have a Ward of the Fallen Blessing, a 6-star preferably, somebody with a shield, and the interaction is going to be pretty damn nasty. If you have a crazy good relic on him as well, that will actually be even better. Now, the aspect of Siroth does not work well with him anymore, and that happened quite a while ago. Then we have Odin Fae Father. Now we're talking about champions worth pursuing, right? Odin is a freaking monster. I love my Odin, guys. Faction Wars, he just destroyed them. Arena, he just destroys them. Other PvE content, he just destroys them. Yes, he's not the best for Hydra. He's not the best for Chimera. He's not the best in the Dragon or anything like that. But he's good everywhere. Defense down, stun, enemy max HP skill, removes buffs. The passive, really, really nice. I have mine built on Stone Skin and Pinpoint. The good thing about this champion, you do not need Savage on him to get crazy damage. And that's a really good thing. Then we have Gorgo. Gorgo, once again, he proven himself to be extremely helpful in my Faction Wars campaign, hard mode. I do like him for PvP. I haven't used him in a while in PvP. I like that you can strip, freeze, extra turn, defense down, and only one thing will trigger polymorph, okay? So, if you do give him a pinpoint set, you're going versus an enemy that has one polymorph, or they have maybe 2 polymorphs in there, you know, and only 1 triggers, you get rid of the pinpoint. And because you already activated it, the second debuff, the defense down, won't trigger it again. Just the freeze or the strip buffs. So that's a very good thing about him. And he can do pretty good damage too. I don't even have mine in Savage. And with an increased attack, he actually really smashes them. I have mine in Pinpoint and Perception. And the last champion, Leorius, the Proud. I used him a bit in Faction Wars hard mode. He's still a good PvP nuker for lower tiers in Arena. So if you're struggling to get into Tag Team Arena, etc., he's going to be pretty nice. You could potentially use him in other content too, because he does bring you AoE skill and an AoE through Fear and Weaken and a defense down on this skill, and he has the passive. It's kind of like a Skull Crown on steroids, guys. That is the list of champions that we have for this CVC. As I've mentioned, we have some good champions, we have some average champions, but either way is a skip for me, because I'm going to go for the fusion, and I need to basically start piling up my resources, because damn, I feel poor AF right now with 4 sacred shards, 4 primal, 6 voids, and 19 ancients. That was all for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. As usual, I will catch you all in the next video. If you do enjoy the videos, make sure to smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.